Pyramid was built with a level of technological sophistication far in excess of anything that we have today.
For centuries, explorers had searched for hidden chambers, lost relics, or long-forgotten secrets buried under millions of tons of stone in the Great Pyramid of Giza. But recently, a drone plunged into the depths of the pyramid, and no one was prepared for what it captured.
So apparently, through the use of LiDAR, they have discovered that there are enormous structures underneath the Great Pyramid that go kilometers.
So what did the drone find in the darkness of the pyramid? And why has this discovery left researchers speechless? Join us as we expose the shocking nightmare buried in Giza. The Great Pyramid Project. About 4,500 years ago, Pharaoh Khufu ordered the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Standing at nearly 147 meters, it was the tallest artificial structure on Earth for over 3,800 years.
Reaches 480 feet tall, and for about 4,000 years, it is the tallest man-made structure on the planet, till it's finally dethroned by England's Lincoln Cathedral in the year 1311.
Built with millions of limestone blocks, some weighing several tons, the precision of its design still baffles experts today. No one knows exactly how the ancient Egyptians managed to move and position these massive stones with such accuracy. Jump to the present, and modern technology is doing what humans never could. A research drone hovered near a narrow shaft deep inside the pyramid, built for one purpose: to explore places no person had ever seen. What it found would challenge everything we thought about this ancient wonder.
Using robots is a way of testing what's going on in those shafts, even though I sincerely doubt a chamber full of hidden treasures is going to show up. That's the world of fantasy.
Stay with us for the jaw-dropping revelations of the ancient world. The truth is, this wasn't the first time technology had been sent inside the Great Pyramid, but this time, the stakes were higher. In 1993, scientists sent a small wheeled robot into the hidden chambers of Giza. The robot crawled up one of the narrow shafts leading out of the Queen's chamber, capturing pictures the world had never seen. And then there it was, a limestone block with two small copper handles. A door. But to what? No one knew. There was no way past it, or to see what was on the other side. The discovery left more questions than answers, and for over 20 years, that mystery remained unsolved. Then came the Great Project. Researchers decided to try again, this time with a more advanced robot. This one was built for the job. It had a flexible camera that could snake through tiny gaps, ultrasonic tools to test the thickness of stone, and the ability to move through tight, sloping shafts without getting stuck. They sent it forward, watching the screens as it crawled deeper into the hidden passage. And then, it made a discovery no one expected. As it neared the same limestone block first discovered in 1993, the robot got to work, carefully drilling a hole just wide enough for its tiny camera to slip through. What it revealed was shocking. The stone blocking the passage wasn't as rough as they expected. It was polished, its surface smooth and carefully decorated. This wasn't just some random block sealing a dead-end tunnel. It had been placed there for a reason. Thousands of years ago, someone had designed it to be seen from the other side. But by whom? And why?
The blocking stone was found in 1993, and ever since, archaeologists have been wondering what the purpose of the shaft is in the first place, why there's a blocking stone or a door with a copper handle, and what might lie beyond it.
The robot continued its scan. The walls of the passage were covered in red markings, strange symbols that no one had seen before. These weren't the usual hieroglyphs found in Egyptian tombs and temples. They look hastily painted, like instructions or messages left behind by the builders. What did they mean? The team had no idea. However, that was just the beginning. For years, historians believed the shafts inside the Great Pyramid were nothing more than ventilation channels. But that theory fell apart with this latest discovery. Now, No one is sure what they were meant for. Were they symbolic, spiritual, something else entirely? According to researchers on the Robotic mission, the polished stone at the end of the shaft looked like the entrance to a hidden chamber, one that hadn't been touched in nearly 4,000 years. If that was true, what was inside? And why had it been sealed so deliberately? The robot pressed on, scanning every inch of the passage. But no golden treasure, hidden tomb, or buried pharaoh was waiting to be found. No Hollywood-style moment. Still, that didn't make the discovery any less critical. Experts pored over the footage recorded by the drone. Some believed the strange markings could be notes left by the builders, instructions lost to time. Others thought they might hold a deeper meaning, possibly tied to ancient rituals. Whatever the truth was, one thing was clear. Nothing like this had ever been seen inside the pyramid before. The JD robot had done its job. It had gone where no human could, captured images no one had ever seen, and proved that the Great Pyramid still had untold stories buried within its walls. But if there's one thing about researchers, they never stop digging for answers. So, they launched a follow-up mission called the Scan Pyramids Project. And what did they discover this time? It will leave you speechless. The Scan Pyramids Project. Several years before the JD exploration, scientists spent much time and resources studying the Great Pyramid of Giza. They mapped its corridors, scanned its walls, and sent specialized robots and drones crawling through every known passageway. They thought they had a solid understanding of its structure. Every chamber, every shaft, every hidden corner. But just after the JD exploration, they launched a new investigation that shattered that belief. Using cutting-edge scanning technology, a team of researchers detected something no one had seen before. A massive, unexplored space deep inside the pyramid. No tunnels led to it, no ancient texts mentioned it, and no previous scans had picked it up. It had been sitting there, untouched for over 4,000 years, completely hidden from the world. They called it the Scan Pyramid's Big Void, leaving experts stunned. Unlike past explorations that relied on physical entry, robots crawling through shafts, drilling small holes for cameras, and even drones scanning the pyramid, this discovery was completely different. No one had to touch a single stone. So how did they pull it off? With something called muon tomography. Here's how it works. High-energy cosmic particles, called muons, are created when cosmic rays hit our atmosphere. These tiny particles are everywhere. They pass through everything on Earth, including the Great Pyramid. Scientists placed special detectors inside the structure to measure how many muons made it through different areas. Dense stones blocked most of them, but open spaces let more pass through. When the results were processed, an unmistakable anomaly appeared. Something massive and hollow sat above the Grand Gallery. At roughly 30 meters, the void was nearly as large as the Grand Gallery. However, unlike other known spaces in the pyramid, there was no recorded entrance and no evidence that anyone had stepped inside since the pyramid's construction. The pyramid had been studied, scanned, and explored for centuries, yet this space had remained completely hidden. The research team wanted to be sure, so they tried to verify the finding from multiple angles, and it came back positive. Muon detectors were placed in different locations, inside the Queen's chamber, around the pyramid's base, and outside the structure. The data told the same story, no matter where they positioned the instruments. The void was real, and it was large. It wasn't a minor structural gap or an accident left behind during construction. It was a clearly defined, deliberate space sealed inside one of the most famous monuments in human history. But that is not the best part. The most shocking part is the location of the space. The void sat directly above the Grand Gallery, the long, steep corridor leading to the king's chamber. The Grand Gallery was a marvel of engineering, with its corbelled ceiling and precise alignment designed to support the weight of the pyramid's upper stones. It wasn't immediately clear if the newly discovered void had a structural purpose. It wasn't filled with support beams or chambers designed to reduce stress on the gallery below. It was empty. The discovery upended previous assumptions about the pyramid's internal design. Until then, researchers believed they had mapped out every major space within the monument. The king's chamber, the queen's chamber, and the subterranean chamber were the only large rooms known to exist. Smaller shafts and passageways had been explored using robotic cameras, but no one expected to find something this large, this high up, and sealed away. The biggest challenge now was figuring out what the void was. Was it an undiscovered chamber? A hidden construction space? A symbolic or religious feature? Without direct access, scientists could only rely on the muon scans. According to archaeologists, the shape and position of the void suggested that it had been intentionally designed, but no one knew why. The lack of an entrance meant that even the builders may have never set foot inside after sealing it. Shocking, right? One could say the Scan Pyramids mission had made one of the biggest discoveries inside the pyramid in modern history, but it also left behind more questions than answers. The more we investigate the pyramid, the less we know about it. So, what else could be hiding there under the pyramid? That is exactly what we'll reveal next. Stay with us. Endless mysteries of the Great Pyramid, the Scan Pyramid's big void wasn't the first shocking find at the Great Pyramid, and it certainly won't be the last. Over the years, researchers have found endless mysteries inside the pyramids. For instance, in 1872, British engineer Wayneman Dixon found hidden shafts inside the Queen's chamber. According to his records, he discovered something bizarre: small pieces of copper embedded in the stone. They looked like remnants of a hinge or some kind of mechanical fitting. But for what? The pyramids weren't supposed to have doors, at least not ones that swung open like modern structures. To this day, no one knows exactly what these metal pieces were for. More than 100 years later, in 1993, a small robot named Upuaut 2 found a tiny limestone door deep within the shafts. Nobody knows what lies behind the door to date. Nearly a decade later, in 2002, another robot called the Pyramid Rover was sent back to take a closer look. It drilled a small hole through the stone and inserted a camera. Guess what it found? Behind the first door was another door, a second blockage, just as polished and sealed as the first. It was as if someone had wanted to make sure whatever was behind them stayed hidden forever. But why? And what was beyond the second door? And just when we thought it was over, another shocking find came in 2019 in the nearby Bent Pyramid. Researchers discovered a hidden chamber inside using the same muon scanning technology that found the big void. It had never been recorded, never been entered. This chamber had no known function, unlike the Grand Gallery or the known rooms in the Great Pyramid. In 2023, another group of researchers studying the Great Pyramid made another shocking observation. They detected unusual electromagnetic energy patterns around the structure, particularly near its top. At the same time, another team discovered something even stranger: a magnetic anomaly inside the pyramid's stones. The limestone blocks used in the pyramid's construction shouldn't have any special magnetic properties. Yet somehow, certain pyramid areas react to electromagnetic fields in a way that defies logic. If anything, these discoveries prove that, after centuries of study, the pyramids are still full of surprises. And that leads us to another interesting question. Will the pyramids stand forever? According to scientists, despite almost 4,000 years of existence, the Great Pyramid is in no danger of falling anytime soon. Scientists have analyzed its structure, and although erosion and environmental factors have caused some damage, the pyramid's core remains incredibly stable. The builders of ancient Egypt designed it with such precision that it has withstood earthquakes, extreme weather, and thousands of years of human activity. So, who knows what we may find inside the pyramid tomorrow? Thank you for staying with us. What else do you think could be lurking in the shadows of the ancient pyramid? Cleopatra's tomb. Cleopatra VII was the last ruler of the Ptolemaic dynasty, which ran Egypt between 305 and 30 years before Christ. She's famous for her sharp mind, legendary beauty, and dramatic love life. She even had kids with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. But there's one big mystery about her that still confuses historians. Where was she buried? Cleopatra and Mark Antony both took their own lives after losing to Octavian at the Battle of Actium in 31 years before Christ.
Under the command of Marcus Vipsanius, Agrippa has won a decisive victory over Queen Cleopatra and her slave, Mark Antony.
They were buried together in a tomb described by Plutarch, around the years 45 to 120 after Christ. As lofty and beautiful and close to a temple for the goddess Isis. Sounds pretty fancy, right? But here's the catch. No one knows where this tomb is.
No one knows what happens to her after she dies, or where she's buried.
And even if someone does find it, there's a good chance it could be empty. Grave robbers were super active in ancient times, so archaeologists think the treasure might already be long gone. King Tut's death. Few archaeological mysteries excite people as much as the story of the Egyptian boy Pharaoh Tutankhamun. In 1922, British Egyptologist Howard Carter discovered King Tut's tomb, and ever since, rumors of a pharaoh's curse that killed those who enter the tomb have spread. But the real mysteries surrounding King Tut's tomb are even more fascinating than any curse. Archaeologists believe King Tut died suddenly, possibly from an infection or injuries from a chariot accident. This could explain why his mummy was in such poor condition when it was found. It seems that King Tut's body may have caught fire after his tomb was sealed and his body was mummified. Experts think the linen wrappings, soaked in flammable embalming oils, may have reacted with the air's oxygen and caused a chain reaction, setting the body on fire and cooking it at about 390 degrees Fahrenheit. This strange event could be due to a rushed burial that led to a botched embalming. This hurried burial raises another question. It's possible that King Tut's tomb was originally meant for someone else, and other undiscovered mummies could be hidden in there too. What mysteries can beat this? Stay tuned because we've got more in store. The Rosetta Stone. In 1799, during Napoleon's Egyptian campaign, French soldiers stumbled upon a stone slab near Rosetta, Egypt. This discovery, known as the Rosetta Stone, was inscribed with a decree issued in 196 years before the Common Era during the reign of Ptolemy V Epiphanes. The decree was written in 3 scripts: Greek, Demotic, and Egyptian hieroglyphs.
It was incredibly difficult, and frustratingly, the translations aren't exact. There are differences between each of the 3 texts here, but once one piece was cracked, there was a way.
The presence of these 3 languages on the stone provided the key to deciphering Egyptian hieroglyphs, which had been a mystery for centuries. Jean-François Champollion, a French scholar, successfully cracked the code in the 1820s by comparing the Greek text with the hieroglyphs. Now housed in the British Museum, it remains a symbol of linguistic and historical breakthroughs and continues to draw millions of visitors each year. The Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant is a gold-encrusted wooden chest that, according to the Book of Exodus, contains the stone tablets of the 10 Commandments. In ancient times, this sacred box was kept in the First Temple, a Jewish place of worship in Jerusalem. But the First Temple was destroyed in 587 before Christ by a Babylonian army led by King Nebuchadnezzar II, according to the Hebrew Bible. The fate of the Ark remains unknown, and since its disappearance, many individuals, both real and fictional, have searched for it. So far, no one has actually found the holy relic, except for Indiana Jones, of course. Some ancient reports suggest that the Ark was taken to Babylon after Nebuchadnezzar's conquest of the city. Others believe that it was buried somewhere in Jerusalem, or that it was destroyed along with the First Temple. Modern reports hint that the Ark resides in a monastery in Ethiopia. A recently translated ancient Hebrew text also suggests that the Ark of the Covenant will reveal itself, but not until the day of the coming of the Messiah, son of David. Nazca lines. The Nazca lines in Peru are a collection of massive geoglyphs etched into the desert floor, depicting everything from animals to geometric patterns. Created by the Nazca culture between 500 before Common Era and 500 Common Era, these designs are best appreciated from the air, revealing their true scale and how complicated they are. For years, archaeologists have pondered their purpose. Some suggest they were astronomical calendars, aligning with celestial events. Others believe they served as pathways for religious pilgrimages, guiding people to sacred sites. Recent discoveries have added new layers to this mystery. Just last year, researchers using artificial intelligence identified over 300 new geoglyphs, including humanoid figures and animals like killer whales. This suggests the Nazca lines were more extensive than previously thought, possibly indicating a more complicated cultural significance. Despite these advancements, the true purpose of the Nazca lines is still strange.
It's like your local water utility map on a 1-to-1 scale. This is a complex but effective way of recording knowledge onto the Earth for later generations to use.
Were they astronomical observatories, religious pathways, or something else entirely? The debate continues. The last discovery on this list of archaeological mysteries is definitely not what you might expect: a prison for witches. In 1597, Aberdeen, Scotland, was gripped by a witch hunt that led to the trial and execution of 23 women and 1 man accused of witchcraft. During this turbulent time, St. Mary's Chapel, part of the Kirk of St. Nicholas, became an unlikely holding cell for the accused. An iron ring embedded in a stone pillar in the chapel served as a restraint, chaining the prisoners during their confinement. The chapel's cold and damp conditions made it a grim place for those awaiting trial. The accused were often elderly women, marginalized by society, who were scapegoated for misfortunes like crop failures or illnesses. Today, the iron ring remains as a chilling reminder of a time when fear and ignorance led to the persecution of many innocent lives. Which of these mysteries shocked you the most? What more secrets remain unknown in our world today? Uncovering King Solomon's tomb. A team of scientists and archaeologists, led by Iset Mazar from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, discovered the location of Solomon's tomb in the city of David. But before this, in 1986, Dr. Eilat Mazar made a significant archaeological discovery, which she initially dated to the 9th century BCE. This discovery was a monumental gatehouse located about 150 meters north of the city of David, in the Ophel area. At the time, Mazar did not have enough evidence to attribute the gatehouse to King Solomon, and refrained from making such claims. In 2009, Mazar resumed her excavations at the Ophel site.
Now, all over the place, we have Iron Age, like First Temple period, floor layers, you can see.
And with more findings and a better understanding of the structure, she re-examined the dating of the gatehouse. Based on the new evidence, she concluded that the gatehouse likely dated to the 10th century BCE, during the time of King Solomon. Why should we believe this archaeological discovery by Mazar? Keep watching. Dr. Mazar was a brilliant scientist who placed tremendous importance in the scientific method. As an archaeologist, one of her favorite motto is, "We must let the stones speak." The late Herschel Shanks emphasized Dr. Mazar's qualifications in a 2007 Biblical Archaeology Review article. He said, "Nobody would question her professional competence as an archaeologist." Dr. Mazar is often regarded as a biblical scientist.
How can we make things as tangible as possible in light of the biblical stories and the facts and narratives?
As she had no trouble incorporating the Bible into her science, in contrast to the great majority of scientists working today.
And the whole assemblage contains more than 30 bullae. And one of them attracted our special attention.
She was actually rather excited to do so. This is unlike many scientists and scholars nowadays who believe that science and religion are in opposition to each other. Mazar's expertise in the field is therefore a major contributor to this significant discovery. What makes this discovery even more astonishing is that they were not specifically searching for Solomon's tomb. Instead, they were looking for something even larger. Mazar and her team were excavating the oldest part of Jerusalem, aiming to find King David's palace, when they uncovered a large wall segment approximately 210 feet long.
Cave of the Kings in Arabic. What is this place? What is its nature? Who made it? And why? Let's follow Barclay in discovering this magnificent site.
This segment included a gatehouse, a corner tower, and a royal structure. The archaeologists were stunned by the wall's size, suspecting it might be part of an even grander building, such as a temple or palace. They were thrilled by the possibility that this structure was connected to King Solomon's reign. Radiocarbon dating indicated that the site was from the period when King Solomon ruled. Mazar noted that this was the first time they had found a structure from that era that could correspond to the descriptions of King Solomon's buildings in Jerusalem. But could this have been built by another king and not Solomon? Keep watching. Mazar explained that there were not many kings from the 10th century who could have built such a structure, essentially just David and Solomon. According to the Bible, King David, known for his battle with Goliath, was the father of King Solomon and is credited with constructing the first temple of Jerusalem on the Temple Mount. Ceramics discovered near the wall helped date the structure to the second half of the 10th century BC, which was the era of King Solomon. It was discovered that near the gatehouse, 3-foot-tall, 1-meter-tall earthenware storage vessels were found, one of which bore a Hebrew inscription indicating it belonged to a high-ranking government official. Other finds included figurines typical of 10th century BC Jerusalem, such as 4-legged animals and large-breasted women likely symbolizing fertility. Additionally, jar handles with impressions reading "to the king" and various Hebrew names were uncovered. It is therefore important to consider the historical and archaeological significance of this particular discovery. Historical and archaeological significance. Finding King Solomon's temple has been a monumental goal for archaeologists for many years, and the recent discovery of a wall segment in the Ophel area represents a historic breakthrough. The Ophel area is one of the oldest parts of Jerusalem and is believed to be where King David's palace once stood. This discovery has provided new information about the area's history, linking it closely to biblical traditions that state King Solomon, the famous king of ancient Israel, was buried in the city of David. This discovery has significant implications, as it supports the biblical portrayal of Solomon as a powerful monarch ruling a substantial kingdom, contrary to the minimalist view that he was an insignificant tribal leader. The city of David, named after King David, Solomon's father, is believed to be the oldest part of Jerusalem, situated just south of the modern-day Old City. This area is significant because it is thought to be the original settlement where King David established his capital after conquering Jerusalem from the Jebusites. Archaeologists have conducted extensive excavations in this area, uncovering many ancient structures and artifacts that shed light on Jerusalem's early history. The city of David, also known as Wadi Hilwe, is an archaeological site considered the original core of ancient Jerusalem during the Bronze and Iron Ages. Situated on the southern part of Jerusalem's eastern ridge, it lies west of the Kidron Valley and east of the Tyropaean Valley, just south of the Temple Mount. The site features remains dating back to the Middle Bronze Age, including a defensive network around the Gihon Spring. Significant discoveries include the large stone structure and the stepped stone structure from the Iron Age, with scholarly debate on their association with King David or a later period. But there's even more that was discovered. Among the notable discoveries in the city of David is the Siloam Tunnel, also known as Hezekiah's Tunnel, which was built to bring water into the city. This tunnel exemplifies the advanced engineering skills of ancient Jerusalem's inhabitants. The Siloam Tunnel, traditionally attributed to Hezekiah, has been dated earlier based on recent excavations. Roman period remains such as the Pool of Siloam and the Stepped Street have also been unearthed. Today, the excavated parts are part of Jerusalem Walls National Park, managed by the Israel Nature and Parks Authority and operated by the Ir David Foundation, located in Wadi Hilwe, which is an extension of the Palestinian neighborhood of Silwan in East Jerusalem, adjacent to an Israeli settlement. Another significant find is the large stone structure, believed by some to be the remains of King David's palace. This massive building, if indeed connected to David and Solomon, highlights the city of David's importance as a center of power and administration during their reigns. While recent discoveries have broken records, including significant artifacts, previous archaeologists struggled to definitively locate any royal tombs belonging to Solomon or his successors. There are several reasons for this historical gap. One potential explanation is that these tombs remained undiscovered, as the city of David is expansive and not all areas had been excavated during earlier efforts. It's plausible that these tombs were still concealed underground, awaiting discovery. Another possibility is that the tombs may have been destroyed or heavily damaged over time due to Jerusalem's tumultuous history of wars and invasions. Ancient structures could have been buried beneath subsequent constructions. But that's not all. Archaeologists persisted in their quest for these royal tombs, recognizing the groundbreaking potential such discoveries held. Unearthing these tombs would provide crucial insights into the rulers of ancient Israel and their burial customs, enriching our understanding of that era. Despite the absence of royal tombs, the discoveries within the city of David were invaluable. They enabled archaeologists and scientists to reconstruct Jerusalem's history and the lives of its inhabitants during the United Monarchy. Each new find expanded our knowledge and clarified the past. Before the tombs were eventually located, numerous compelling theories, such as those concerning hidden chambers, abounded. Let us check out some of these theories and speculations. Theories and speculations about the tomb's location. Before Dr. Mazar's discovery, various theories existed about the location of Solomon's tomb. Some believed it to be beneath the Temple Mount, a site of immense religious significance for Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Among Muslims, the Temple Mount is known as Haram al-Sharif, the noble sanctuary. It is believed to be the site where the Prophet Muhammad ascended to the divine presence during the miraculous night journey, riding a winged horse. This event is commemorated by the Dome of the Rock Shrine, one of Islam's architectural marvels. The Temple Mount was a coveted territory, occupied or conquered by various peoples, including the Jebusites, Israelites, Babylonians, Greeks, Persians, Romans, Byzantines, early Muslims, Crusaders, Mamluks, Ottomans, and the British. It has witnessed numerous significant historical events, possibly more than any other 35 acres worldwide. However, archaeologists have had limited opportunities to explore the site for physical evidence to distinguish legend from reality. The site remains an active place of worship, and the controlling authority, an Islamic council known as the Waqf, has long prohibited archaeological excavations, viewing them as desecration. Apart from clandestine surveys of caves, cisterns, and tunnels by European adventurers in the late 19th century, and some minor archaeological work by the British from 1938 to 1942 during renovations of the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the historical layers beneath the Temple Mount have largely remained unexplored. Therefore, even if Solomon's tomb is there, it is very difficult to locate it without proper investigation. Theories about hidden chambers beneath the Temple Mount remain just that, unproven theories, due to the lack of concrete evidence. In addition, some historical accounts and traditions mention royal burials near or within the vicinity of the Temple Mount. Ancient texts and stories suggest that kings, including Solomon, might have been buried close to this sacred site, adding to the mystery and theories surrounding the location of Solomon's tomb. One reason for believing Solomon's tomb could be near the Temple Mount is its connection to the First Temple, also known as Solomon's Temple, which was built by King Solomon and was a crucial place of worship for the Israelites. Given the temple's importance, it makes sense that Solomon's burial place might be nearby. But there are even more theories. Some historical texts hint at hidden chambers and secret passages beneath the Temple Mount, suggesting rooms or tunnels where significant items, possibly including the tombs of kings, were hidden. However, without the ability to explore these areas, it is difficult to confirm these stories. Limited archaeological investigations around the Temple Mount have not uncovered definitive evidence of Solomon's tomb. These investigations are often conducted carefully to avoid altering the site. While many interesting artifacts and structures have been found, the mystery of Solomon's tomb remains unsolved. If Solomon's tomb is indeed at the Temple Mount, as some theorists speculate, It would be a significant discovery not only for archaeologists, but also for everyone interested in history and religion. But this isn't the only theory that has existed about the location of Solomon's tomb. What other theories have emerged over time? Keep watching to find out. One significant location is Zedekiah's Cave, also known as Solomon's Quarries, a 5-acre underground limestone quarry under the Muslim quarter of the Old City of Jerusalem. Spanning 5 city blocks and carved over thousands of years, it is believed to have provided the stone for King Solomon's first temple and is the largest quarry in Jerusalem. The strong, erosion-resistant Meliki limestone was well suited for royal buildings. The cave has a rich history, with legends of King Zedekiah hiding there from Babylonian soldiers and associations with the Freemasons, although these are mostly speculative. The cave is now open to the public with guided tours, although some areas remain closed for safety or ongoing excavation. Another speculated site is Zedekiah's Cave, also known as Solomon's Quarries. This vast underground limestone quarry has historical links to King Solomon, and local lore suggests it might contain hidden passages leading to his tomb. Share your opinions with us in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, click the following video on your screen and you will enjoy it.